You are here in Grantham today outside the hospital. Why are you here today?
Well, look, the A&E department here at Grantham Hospital, which is closed at 6:30 p.m. this evening, as it is every day, I mean, that isn't right. I mean, a community like the one that Ross Pepper hopes to serve as Member of Parliament in the Sleaford constituency, you know, it is a rural one. The distances people have to travel to get to treatment, any kind of medical treatment, are already long and vast. And to make it so that you have to be ill at just the right time is utterly unreasonable. And it shows a government that is neglecting the interests and the needs of market towns and rural communities like these here. And we're the only party saying, look, if we need to make sure we raise additional taxation to pay for these services, so we've got a 24-hour A&E service here, then that is exactly what we must do.
And you're here in Lincolnshire to campaign on behalf of Ross Pepper for the Sleaford and North Hykeham by-election. Obviously, that's a constituency that voted in favour of Brexit. So what do the Liberal Democrats, as a pro-EU party, have to offer the people of Sleaford and North Hykeham?
Well, we're the only people on the ballot paper who are being honest with the people of the community, saying that, you know, the hard Brexit, exit from the single market that Theresa May is pursuing, is something that nobody voted for because it wasn't on the ballot paper. And it's all very easy to be a politician and tell people stuff that they want to hear. It's a bit braver. It actually involves real leadership and backbone to say to the British people and the people of this community, this is the position that we believe in and we want you to follow us. There's a very large number of people who voted to remain in the European Union here. There's also a very large number of people who voted to leave and who will be incandescent with Theresa May taking us out of the single market when they never meant that. And of course we have the best example of all in Stephen Phillips, the former MP, who was a Leave campaigner, very supportive of Brexit, but on the other hand said, hang about, leaving the single market will be a bonkers thing to do because it will cost revenue, it will cost jobs, it will put prices up. And we're the only party on that ballot paper saying Brexit, a hard Brexit, is not something British people voted for and it's not in Britain's interests.
Now, it's your party's policy to hold a second referendum after the negotiation's been completed. What do you say to those people that simply say you're trying to frustrate the will of the people? We've already had one referendum, why should we have another?
So that's a peculiar thing to say to someone who wants to listen to the will of the people. I mean, the Conservative government and Labour, who are just limping lamely on after them and waving the white flag over Brexit, they want to impose on the British people any old shoddy deal that we might get out of the European Union. And we've heard this last week, that we might have freedom of movement for migration, no change what we currently have, or we might be out of the single market, or we might have to pay into the European Union, or we might be outside the European arrest warrant. So that's just four potential alternatives just for starters. Which one of those did we vote for? Well, none of them, because they weren't on the ballot paper. What is likely to happen is that the British people will be given by this government a deal, a stitch-up with Brussels that absolutely nobody voted for. My prediction is that 80% of the British people will feel that what we end up with from Brussels is not what we voted for, whether we voted in or out. That's why so many Leave voters voted Liberal Democrat yesterday in Richmond, by the way, because they might have voted to leave the European Union, but I think it's wrong that the new deal is imposed upon us without our say. So we believe if you trust the will of the people, you trust the will of the people at the beginning of the process and at the end of it. You can't start with democracy and end with a stitch-up.
So the UK Independence Party elected their new leader at the start of the week, Paul Nuttall, and he said that he hopes the party will replace Labour as the opposition. Where do you think the Liberal Democrats fits into that equation?
Well, all I can tell you is that since the referendum, the two parties that have shown serious movement in the opinion polls and serious movement in council elections up and down the country are UKIP and the Liberal Democrats. And UKIP's movement has been calamitously down. They've been losing seats nearly every week. They lost 2, I think, yesterday. And the Liberal Democrats gaining seats every week. We gained 23 seats. UKIP, Labour and the Tories have gained none between them net. And we've been gaining them from Labour, UKIP and the Conservatives. So it seems that UKIP needs to bother electing a new leader because Theresa May is it. She has chosen to take that kind of hard Brexit stance completely against the interests of Great Britain as a whole and of Lincolnshire in particular. So I don't see the point in UKIP now. But a party that is moderate, that is progressive, that's internationalist, outward-looking, believes in an open, tolerant, united country, the Liberal Democrats, there's a great space for us. Richmond Park and all those other elections prove that we're back and we are in the picture.
Tim Farron, thank you very much for speaking to me.
Thank you for having me.